Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know what? Let's start off with Josh for a minute. Josh, I'm going to be completely honest, and this comes to no surprise to anyone, that she annoyed me today. She annoyed me today because it shows a certain level of entitlement and her just being vapid about the situation. She starts in talking about, well, eventually they get to talking about Sonny, and she's all like, oh, I recorded him doing a crime, and he's a criminal, this, that, and the third, blah 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 blah. The thing about Joss is that before this whole Sonny destroyed the family and everything like that, she was all fine with with living in Sonny's house and spending Sonny's money and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, let's be honest, Carly has her own money. Carly didn't start off with her own money, though. You know, so what I'm saying, like, growing up and everything like that, it wasn't like this was just all Carly's money. You know, so for her to sit there, and even Michael, to sit there and chastise Sonny, oh, he's a criminal, this, that, and the third. I'm like, you're okay with that before? You're okay with that before? This whole split up, and now him going out with Nina. Like, where was that energy before? Okay, and then this chick comes out her mouth. This is after she talks about, well, collateral damage, and Carly's like, listen, you can't do that because, Donna and Avery, they're, little girls and stuff like that. And, we talked about this yesterday as far as, Sonny using that as a way of manipulating her. But regardless, even if he didn't do it, at the end of the day, there is collateral damage. Donna, Avery, Dante. Okay, Dante's a grown adult, but, even Christina, which is also a grown adult. But my point is that, you know, what she was planning on doing had a ripple effect. Okay. And then she's all like, oh, well, he's a criminal, blah, 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 blah. And then she comes out her mouth and, she starts calling people idiots for defending Sonny. And I think she called herself an idiot. But my point is, it's like, you're chastising people who has been on this planet a hell of a lot longer than you. Calling them idiots for decisions that they made, for sticking by Sonny, for standing by Sonny, and Jason was an idiot too. And I'm like, sweetheart, you are barely 18. You are barely 18, and you come out your mouth acting like you know more than the adults in your life, which is insulting. It is absolutely insulting. So her level of just vapancy, I know that that's a word, but my point is that she just comes across as just ignorant. Ignorant. Oh, he's done so much to you and yada yada yada. And you know what? Carly has done a lot to Sonny as well. Okay? And again, this whole wealth, this whole house and everything like that you're living in, guess who it was first? Yeah, Sonny gave it to your mother, but it was still Sonny. Okay? You sleep in your nice little warm bed, acting like you didn't know damn well where that money came from. So, yeah, when I sit there and say that she pissed me off today, is an understatement. I don't know who this new pool boy is, this new cabana boy, or whoever he is. And I know there's a lot of people that don't like Nina. Trust me, I get it. But there's a certain level of disrespect where you act like, bro, listen, at the end of the day, and this is why some of this stuff falls on Olivia. Okay? Because regardless of her feelings about Nina, at the end of the day, it's business. Okay? This isn't personal. This isn't high school. This is business. And the fact that she blatantly disrespected Nina in front of the other staff probably gave him the cojones to sit there and disrespect her. Nina asked this guy to sit there and cover something else. You know what this idiot did? He starts to saying, no, I'm not going to do that because you're a baby still, and you're this, and you're that, and Carly was cool, and yada 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 yada. Sonny comes over there, and Sonny handled the situation. He didn't intimidate. He didn't intimidate him. Okay, he came in. I mean, granted, he probably has an intimidating personality and voice and everything like that. But he was like, listen, this isn't about her. This is about whatever's going on in your life. And not only is it disrespectful to her, but you're not doing yourself any favors also. And it got him to open up, and he had things that was going on with his parents. He apologized, and actually, to tell you the truth, he thought he was going to be fired. I'm like, bro, in all honesty, you should have been fired. You should have been fired. As much as I do not like Nina, you should have been fired. She was like, no, just don't let it happen again. And she thanked Sonny, and I thought that she wouldn't. I thought she was like, I can handle this by myself. But she thanked him. But of course, Sonny couldn't just sit there and leave well enough alone. He's all like, see, I told you, this is what I was warning you about. You know, you could have just stopped before you even got to that point. But you just, I don't know, what would you have to prove your point, prove that you were right or something like that? And to be honest, he really wasn't right about that. She bought that hotel fair and square. Hell, she was going to give back the car. Now I know a lot of people could be like, "Oh, well, it wasn't really whatever." Okay, we can debate about her motives or whatever. But at the end of the day, she's still the co-owner. Co-owner. So this whole Sonny is like, "Oh, I want you." No one asked you. No one asked you. This is not your concern. Like, you need to, what I'm saying? Like, she's not coming in your job and being like, oh, well, back at the magazine, so you need to kind of just, stay in your lane. Of course, they get into an argument, and it's about Carly and three people in this relationship, when in reality, yeah, because they share children. So that's always going to be the case. Um, they go back and forth, and at one point, Sonny gives her like an ultimatum or whatever. I feel like this is one of those things. We're both gonna have to compromise. We're both gonna have to sit there and give in a little bit because it's not gonna work. You know, um, she doesn't need to sit there and feel undermined. And at the end of the day, Nina needs to be okay with his line of work, which up until this point they don't talk about it because there was never any consequences. Um, guys coming in with guns, threatening her, or anything like that. But, when that stuff does happen, then we'll sit there and see, is she going to be okay with that life? Because it was a couple of times even Carly wasn't okay with that life. We'll see. Oh, Spencer, Spencer, Spencer. So, here's the thing, and I've said this repeatedly. This plan was doomed to fail from the start, okay? It was doomed to fail from the start. And I mean, his plan in general was already trash. You want to wait until she slipped up. Well, the trial is coming up soon. Maybe we should come up with a new plan. What's really sad? At least he actually had something in place. As much crap as I'm giving him, Curtis literally sat on his ass until the last minute and he decided, oh, wait, I'm a PI. So he's all like, oh, well, the trial's coming up soon. You need to sit there and tell me, are you going to go for this or not? And she stalls, of course. I'm going to be honest. I'm surprised she's even entertaining that. She's all like, what's to prevent me from going to jail? Spencer's like, oh, well, you'll think of something. This was such a dumbass plan to begin with. This really was. And of course, she doesn't give him an answer. Nicholas decides, hey, I don't want to get a divorce. Ava, once again, is not really too concerned with why he's flipping back and now he doesn't want a divorce. Like, seriously. You know, when Ava first came to town, seemed like a badass in her own right. She was sharp, and she didn't give a damn about Carly getting in her face or not. Same thing with Julie and Jerome, and we all know how that turned out. I can understand why a lot of people have problems with Carly and Sonny and the Corinthos as a whole and how they always win, and I get it. Because examples like that piss even me off. And I love Sonny. Doesn't mean I'm going to co-sign some of the BS that he does, but that's my guy. Um, the hell was I sitting there saying? Oh, I think I was sitting there talking about, yeah, Ava. So now she's not even going to bother to sit there and question what this nitwit's doing. He's all like, no, this isn't good. Something about life and some sort of thing that he was trying to come up with to convince her, and apparently it worked. And she was like, all right, well, what are you going to do with the divorce papers? Not questioning, why did you just suddenly change your mind? No, because that would actually make sense. You know, about the plot means more than anything else. Pisses me off every time. So she leaves because she got to head to Trina's trial. Um, Nicholas comes in there and is all like, "Hey, I got your internship back." So she's all hugging him and everything, and she leaves. Spencer's like, "Yo, what are you doing? Why are you why why are you giving her favors for? What's the matter with you?" They get into a back and forth. Um, they seem like they're coming to some sort of conclusion of, you know, Nicholas messed up a couple of times, but no one's perfect. Um, Now, before um, Asmir was not to ask about Paul Oz or the sketchy guy that apparently that wants to be a lawyer that sold her the phone, checking on the condition, which was the same, which is amazing because I mean HIPAA laws. Yeah, I know that's funny too. Um, so now she is going to be back, and towards the end, she talks about how she wants to see Ryan Chamberlain, and apparently she's going to see him because we saw previews of Ryan, talking to somebody. So it's obviously her because he hasn't revealed that he can sit there and talk yet. So she got her way. Now, Asmir wasn't there talking to Nicholas. Nicholas like, you were so certain that you were going to sit there and tell yesterday, and I want to make sure that we're good. And she was all like, oh, well, I was just, it's really, really bad and stuff like that. And, I was at a low point. So, I would never sit there and hurt you and Spencer and Ava. And then her little veiled threat of, thankfully, it never came to that. I, when you read the comments, not my comment section, but when you go on Instagram and everything like that, and people that they're calling Nicholas an idiot and this, that, and the third, it's because he's letting somebody who isn't even old enough to drink, okay, get him into a position where he's afraid. He's afraid of somebody who can't even drink because he was stupid enough to have sex with her. We can all laugh about that at some point, but it's sad. So Portia winds up meeting up with Curtis, and eventually Jordan gets there. And one of the things that Jordan wants to ask is, how did you get the information? How did you get the information? How did you get the information to sit there and find this guy? And of course, he tells some sort of tale, but he doesn't include that he got the information from Miss Wu. Um, the thing is, they're going to be probably seeing each other every now and then. So Jordan is going to sit there and start to get kind of suspicious, and he leaves her name out of it. He tells her how he met, tells her about Esmer and her lead and everything like that, and her theory. And, Jordan says she can quietly investigate, whatever that means. But she does go to Nicholas towards the end and talks to him. Um, Now, at the courthouse, you got Trina, you got OG Taggart, and you got Rory. So they're there, and Rory says, talks to her for a little bit. And the DA calls him over like he's some sort of 12-year-old that got in trouble at school. It was like, well, what do you do sitting there hanging out with her? Now, he's all like, well, I'm a private citizen and I can hang out with her and yada, yada, yada. But she's like, it's about optics. It's about optics. Whether it's right or wrong, it's about optics. Trina has been sitting there saying that since day one. Um, and while Trina's sitting there talking to Tagger, and Tagger's like, yo, listen, he made his bet. He made a choice. When he comes back, and she does sit there and talk about consequences. And Trina's like, listen, if I don't want to get you in trouble, yada, yada, yada. But Rory is going to make his own decisions and he's going to live with his own consequences. And it's kind of a shame because he is still a rookie. He is still a rookie. And when you start doing certain things in your career earlier, depending on what it is, it kind of follows you. You need to sit there and make very smart choices to get yourself in a better position in your career. But listen, it's his choice, and technically he wants to sit there and flush his career down the toilet, then whatever. He's standing by her and all that good stuff. Ava gets there, Josh and Carly gets there, but then Carly has to leave. Ava has to leave for some odd reason, or maybe she stayed. I don't even remember at this point. Well, I feel like that's about it. Or at least the most pertinent stuff that went on in this episode. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Let me know your thoughts on the comment section below, and I will see you in the next video.